Alright guys, today we're going to talk about this Holochain sell-off and this huge validation we're getting. We're going to talk about Holochain, State of the Union, what's going to happen in 2022. It's going to be an end of year review, and during this month of December there was actually one point where Holochain fell until it was $0.002. I don't even know how to say that in actual dollars, but it was cheap. And we want to wonder, in those times, is it all over? That's what we're going to talk about, because I want to impart with you a mindset of how to really look at charts, especially when it comes to Holochain. So you don't want to miss this video. Other than that, before we get going, do me the one favor that I always ask you to do if you are a returning viewer. But if you're a new viewer, be sure to smash that like button and smash that subscribe button. And now let's jump in. Alright guys, so I really wasn't going to do another Holochain for this end of the year, but we got to talk about the State of the Union. I was looking at the charts and I saw something really incredible, so I had to talk about it. This is going to be a very short update video, but you're also going to learn a little bit of chart reading to see what I see when it comes to the charts. Specifically, what to look out for, signs, and general rule of thumbs that I think you should adopt. And I just want to mention that if you don't already know, 2022 is expected to be a bear market. So that is just a heads up there. We don't know when that is going to happen, like what month, but a lot of influencers and a lot of my mentors are expecting 2022 to be a big bear market. And one of those people, a good person, a good genuine person whom I follow myself, is Raoul. And let's take a look at what he's saying on his Twitter feed. So I'm going to attach this tweet to the references below in the pinned comments, but basically what Raoul is saying is that BTC volumes have been stagnant since the run up in 2020. Active wallet addresses have not gone anywhere, so it seems that retail activity has peaked at the beginning of 2021. So what that tells me is that the market right now is sideways and we're not getting a lot of new money. So that has all been kind of replaced by institutions by the measure of wallets, and that is good because what we know is that really all the money is centered at the top, which is the institutions, because all the stimulus checks that are sent to people, they're just going to spend it on businesses, and really, who owns those businesses? Institutions. But like he says here, the number is still pretty small. He goes on to say that if we adjust for price, bigger investors liquidated and have barely returned. And that makes sense because what's happening right now is it's the end of the year, and a lot of people, a lot of big investors, big institutions are looking to get that tax benefit. They're trying to get their taxes in order and then come back in 2022 to buy the dips in the bear market. So that's a really good hint because the institutions will buy up things on a discount in the bear market, and that is when we will strike too. And if you want to know the timing for when all that will happen, then you can check out IM Academy, which I am a part of too. Check them out in the pinned comments below or the description, or you can even email me. You can set up a call and talk about it. But basically what Raoul is saying here is that Metcalfe's law applied to network growth. It's very slow. That is why price is sluggish, because we need more people to come in order to push the price up. No new people is coming in, so that's why price is where it's at right now in the ending weeks of December and the ending weeks of 2021. So the same is true for Ethereum, but Ethereum is a little bit different due to DeFi and NFT. It gives a strong narrative for ETH, so volumes has kind of been remaining elevated and addresses are rising. But he goes on again to say that active addresses have stagnated because people rotated in different opportunities in this sideways market. So what we're seeing is that there's no new real net capital flowing to the space. So attention is moving to other chains. You know, right now we have some other chains that are really popular, like Solana, like AVAX, like Phantom, and people are moving into those spaces, especially Terra Luna. Terra Luna has been on a rise, so people are moving into those chains and adopting them. So that is why we see the price of Ethereum and Bitcoin staying where they are. Some other things that he mentioned is that all assets which are driven by network effects, which are pretty much all cryptos, require the network to grow to rise in value. That's why we see explosive price action in projects that suddenly gain network effects, which is Terra Luna right now, because Terra Luna is blowing up. And that is when the market has decided that, all right, Terra, you're getting some real traction here. So he goes on to say that his view is that the key reason the market has seen less retail activity, because there's not a lot of retail investors coming in, is that the wages are rising slower than the consumer price index. The cost of living has gone up dramatically, which we have seen over here in the US and all across the world, and that has pretty much removed the marginal investor from crypto. They just can't afford the disposable income. We're going to talk about this in a bit, but that is crucial. So he doesn't see stable economic growth and lower inflation for a while, so we are going to have to rely on institutions and hedge funds to allocate meaningful capital. So we have to wait for the institutions to make their play, and he thinks that it's coming, and Q1 should confirm that. Indeed, maybe January, but we'll have to wait and see. So really what's important is that Guys, we just gotta stay patient for now and wait and see. Lastly, one of the things I want to point out is that the best advice Raoul got was from Paul Tudor Jones, who once told him that the best investors he knew are those whose investment time horizons matches their ideal time horizons. If your model is based on Metcalfe's law for all DAs, then you need to be thinking in years, not weeks or months. So basically what he's saying is that this is a game of patience, which a lot of people don't have nowadays. What people like buying is the tops and selling at the bottoms, which they should do the other way around. This is why we see so many people losing. We have to look at the investment in terms of years, not days, weeks, months. Just to buying hot for and waiting for a couple of weeks. I've seen people who said like, I bought hot last week. Why hasn't it risen yet? I'm like, dude, when were you expecting your Maserati to come? Like tomorrow? So that's how speculative investors play. The people who says, I want to get rich quick. But I'm sure that if you are watching this video, if you've been following me for a while and you're investing in hot, then you're already looking at it in the horizons of years. So the personal opinion of Raoul and I seem to agree because our mindset right now is just to hodl and be patient. One thing in that tweet that I really wanted to point out is that people don't have disposable income to play in this market anymore, which is crazy because we all know that wages never go as fast as inflation. So what that means is that people have basic needs. They have to eat. And when inflation for food is going up so much faster than their wages, then most of their wages is going to go to shelter. It's going to go to food, their basic needs. So what's left over is nothing. So the only people who can participate in this market is going to be the institutions, the big investors. So what we're going to see is more money flowing to the top because the only people that have hedges against inflation are the people that owns the assets. So for the people that don't, the future is going to be tough. And if you think you're one of those people, you got to start thinking about how you can get out of that circle. So the game right now really is to beat inflation. And if you're not in a group that is in that game, then you got to switch groups. And one of those groups, like I said, is IM Academy. Check them out in the description or pin comment or email me, set up a call, and we can talk more about that. But anyways, with that said, let's get on to the Holochain technical analysis and the state of the union of 2022. All right, so if you're wondering what was all that about BTC and Ethereum, I thought this video was about Holochain. And if you're new to this, then you gotta understand that Holochain and all the other altcoins, they basically just follow the price movements of Bitcoin and Ethereum. So Bitcoin really leads the show. If BTC rises or falls, then HOT and all the other altcoins tends to follow. And that's kind of a general rule of thumb. And I use the word tends to follow because they might not always follow, but most of them just tend to follow. All right, so here we are in Holochain. It's selling at 0.0075. So I want to show you this. So over here in December 4, this is what is incredible. On December 4, it dropped. It wicked as low as 0.002514. And I'm kind of bummed that I did not set some limit orders to that price because I would have gotten in at a good price. Now, I don't know what happened. There is no news. So what I'm banking this on is that BTC at the same time also fell, because if we go to Bitcoin, and this is where that general rule of thumbs follow, is that Bitcoin, let's remove all these drawings. Bitcoin over here in December 4th also made the same big fall. So that's what I mean, that the altcoins tend to follow Bitcoin, and Bitcoin made this big fall, which also led to Holochain making the same big wick. So people bought it up, the drop in Bitcoin spilled over to Holochain, and if you got some bags from this, then really good for you. But this is really good news because although we fell all the way down to 0.002, it really closed up here at around 0.01 or 1 cent. And for that day, the drop was only like, I think it was like 8%. So if you went and used a ruler, so the drop was basically 8.27%. That's how big that drop is for December 4th, really, because that's where the price closed at. But this is what I wanted to teach you, that this long wick that you see is called a liquidity grab. We see a big sell-off really, really quickly, but just as quickly, we had buyers step in and buy it all the way back up to 1 cent. And that is a very good sign. Now that liquidity grab is a very good sign because that tells me that there is demand for Holochain, but the overall graph looks pretty good. This is how a graph is supposed to look like, right? You see downs, you see ups, you see some breakouts, and here you're in a new zone of it's going up and down again. So it's replaying what happened here when it was under 0.002 cents. Like this was a zone, and now this is a new zone. Now what I'm looking at next is that Holochain might go drop it all the way down to 0.0058 and 0.0051. So that might not be good news for a lot of you who bought in at the highs. I bought at the highs too. So, but you know, it's also another chance if you really believe in this project to dollar cost average. Remember, don't take this as you should go buy Holochain, because here's the disclaimer. Again, I am not a financial advisor. You should do your own research, do your own due diligence before getting into anything risky like cryptos. Right now, we are heading into 2022, and like I said in the beginning of the video, that a lot of people think that 2022 is going to be a bear market, including myself. That means personally, I expect price to drop even further or remain in the same zone for most of 2022. And that goes for most other altcoins that I've covered in this channel, with the exception of maybe Polygon and Terra Luna. I really think that they are gonna make a break for it in 2022, but that's just me again. And if you want to learn more about Terra Luna, we're talking about it all day, every day at IM Academy, so check that out. So the final message of today is that 2021, the end of 2021, right now the markets are very uncertain, and we expect 2022 to be a bear market. So that's why everybody's just waiting in the sideline. Again, we expect this, but there's always a chance that it might not happen. But if it does happen, then you can see me picking up some hot bags in 2022. Other than that, like I said, do your research. Don't blame anyone else for actions that you make based on some YouTuber's advice, because we're not responsible for that. Other than that, just a reminder to check out the swag below this video if you're watching this on YouTube. Otherwise, have a happy new year. Smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Check out these other videos on cryptocurrencies and passive income, and I'll see you next time. Peace!